Hi everybody, I wanted to respond to our module questions, and thanks Jake for the excellent questions and summaries of this week's readings. I've actually really enjoyed this week's readings, although they definitely helped me to step outside my realm of what I experience daily in my work. And I'll talk a little bit about that in my response. So working in a small, and I do mean very small, um, community college, we have an unduplicated head count of slightly over 1,400 students this fall. We're down about 100 students from last fall. So some of the issues are very foreign to my everyday work in the topics that we're looking at right now. So I wanted to take a few moments to share our current revenue generation that were discussed this week in the college's planning council. And I think you'll quickly kind of get the idea of what I'm talking about when I say that some of it is very foreign. So historically, we don't do anything that's very non-traditional or out of the ordinary for revenue generation. And I'm referring to Jake's question one. We've typically done grants and donations as far as, which again is not very non-traditional at all. Probably our biggest thing that we did lately was we had an entire building and program startup that was based off of an industry gift program, basically. It was an ammonia refrigeration program that was started. It was one of, there's only, if I'm not mistaken, two in the entire country. We were the only one on the East Coast. And it was a very impressive building, a very nice program. Again, totally gifted to us, which was fabulous. We had enough money to have it self-sustain for 4 to 5 years. We were winding up year four, didn't quite have enough money to finish out year five. The lead instructor in that program decided to quit, and so we closed the program at that time instead of moving forward at that point and hiring someone else when we knew we didn't have money to continue to have it move forward. So unfortunately, that was not exactly how we had wanted it to continue or go on. It was not able to self-sustain itself. So moving back to present day, this past week in our planning council, myself and two colleagues made a presentation to the planning council to consider the purchase of an early alert system. The early alert system would be for the entire institution's use to support retention, and the total cost for the package that we were looking at was a very minimal package to just start us off to make sure that it would actually be used and would have a good return on investment. So we were looking at a $25,000 investment for year one, and so that was the proposal. So ideas were put forward from the Planning Council to help offset this cost that would have come out of the college's equipment budget. And some of the ideas, so this would be in regards to question one, would be to join together with other small neighboring community colleges to form a consortium group that maybe could write a grant to help offset the cost, and maybe that joining together would create a larger number and buy in bulk or volume, so to speak, to lower the cost of the product. So that was one thing. Another thing that was not well received by some in the group was to raise the student technology fees to help offset the cost of the early alert system. And because and this kind of related to this week's reading as well, because some view that something as minor as raising a technology fee might then make our tuition appear higher than a neighboring institution's tuition because one of our fees is higher. That's not looked upon very highly. Mind you, we are well below what is allowable. The state sets what our maximum technology fee can be, and ours is very, very low, and we have not raised it in years. But our board has already established what ours, it's already been passed by our board of trustees, so we couldn't raise it for this year anyways. So anyways, I just thought I would set that so you could see how very, very vastly different that is from some of the kind of things that we've been reading about in our readings. And so it's been very interesting to me to read and expand my horizons with our reading that we've been doing. Also, in working at a community college, obviously, unless you're Valencia in Florida, you're not usually ranked. And although, there are some great rankings of community colleges, but within our system here in North Carolina, so the rankings and the selectivities that we're talking about, how they're very highly interesting topics to me, but I don't have a lot of personal experience to shed to bring to the table on those particular topics, and the same would be true with balancing research and academia. So hopefully this would be an acceptable response to question one of Jake's. And again, I found the readings very, very interesting, but as far as tying into personal experience, it was a little lacking there this week. So thank you all very much, and I look forward to reading or hearing and seeing your responses.